I'm Don Wilkins, and as a Piscean, I've always been interested in water. And I love to have water around me and the things that I've got that go with it, water wheels and leaks and things like that. But it's also my privilege and my job to find water. I'm a dowser, or perhaps to put it into English, a water diviner. Margaret, my wife here, she was the sorcerer's apprentice, but now she's a sorcerer in her own right. And both of us, we find water, and that's our job. And it's a very satisfying job to do. I've had great joy in meeting people that I wouldn't have met otherwise, and the joy it brings them when we found water that they haven't had it before. And so perhaps I'll be able to explain a little bit of what we do, and maybe later on there is a place where we have to go and find water, and perhaps you'll join us to see what we do.
The farmhouse has been supplied up till now with water from a spring, which is about 300 meters from the house. That's been fine, but now that there are two dwellings on the property, we need a bigger volume of supply, and the spring, we feel, isn't sufficient to provide both dwellings.
This is our present top to the spring for the supply of water. It's covered by this hatchway. I mean, if you look in here, the condition is not very good. So, you know, it does need replacing. It's been in use for a number of years. So, you know, we do need to do something about the supply.
The reason why we've decided against getting a main supply, or trying to get a main supply, is that the nearest point that we could obtain water from the mains would be running it from about a third of a mile away. So the costs would be high, and also the metering of water is now coming in from the local authorities. So we'd prefer to have our own independent supply.
No, on dry summers, sometimes the supply actually dries up.
Oh, I see. So really, we ought to be looking for a new supply altogether.
Yeah.
Well, this area is a very suitable one in as much as you're away from all your drainage.
Right.
And I see this as a catchment area. So I think this is where we ought to look.
Right.
Now, in some strange way that I'm unable to explain, Margaret would confirm, but she can't explain either.
Right.
We see water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's perceived through the eye. And I think Margaret's actually looking at the moment. Do you reckon?
That's where I reckon it is.
I reckon it is over there where that piece of flattened grass is. So I think we'll go up there and have a look, see if we're right.
Great. Okay.
Regarding quantity, roughly about 40 gallons a day is in excess of what you might want.
Right.
We'll give it some idea of what to look for. So how many people are we actually looking for?
I'd say probably 8 people.
8.
Yeah.
So 4 8s are 32. Well, I'm going to say to you, if we don't find 500 to 1,000, I think we'll be drilling you another hole. The 3 things that you need to be a dowser is, one is some sort of natural propensity. Does a stick turn? Does wire rods? Does a pendulum? If you've got something like that, that's the greater part of the way. Then you need an absolute belief in what you're doing. If you don't believe it, quite simply, it doesn't work. And thirdly, you need an incentive. You have to have a desire to do it. And if you haven't got the desire to do it, or it's only just fleeting, it's unlikely that you will get very far. You know, many people just take a stick and think that the stick is going to move. Not so. In most cases, a dowsing rod is on a point of equilibrium or balance. Don't actually need anything, because I can see water. You know, what we usually do, we put in a peg to mark that. That's a guess, in fact, now. And as I was saying to you a little earlier on, we look for a number of courses where they cross over and join together. They give a more reliable supply, and I think that that's what I'm going to look for now. So using the stick in the old traditional manner, I'm attracted to water, so the stick goes down. It's an involuntary reaction. I can't just create that if I'm not over water. And there's another one there. The ground's hard, isn't it?
Very hard.
And another one. And again. A very strong reaction. Just out of curiosity, can you see in fact that they line up? I usually close my eyes because I don't want the preconceived idea of what might be there. And another one there. So it looks very much as though there's three courses that run through the area. This is one of the problems for a long time. We had to be absolutely single-minded water, because there are so many things for which a divining rod will turn for which are not water. And this is what actually sorts out the men from the boys. I go 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, around about 75. Second course there. 80, 90, well, somewhere around 100, 110, 120, 130. Oh yes, there's quite a bit. I don't know what your depth was there. So we believe that this would be the suitable area. The rig will be along shortly, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is and say, well, yes, if there's no water, there's no pay. Some people say that dowsing is a Celtic attribute. It may have been. I'm very much a Cornishman, and Margaret, a Cornish woman of, I think there's about 9 generations of saddlers. In my case, on my mother's side, there was mining both sides, and maybe that's had some influence, because I'm positive that the miners did douse. They have the incentive to do it. I have the incentive to find water because it is my living. So of course anything in Cornwall has an interest to me. I've done a lot of work on the Scilly Isles, brought water from many people that would have had difficulties otherwise. Found all the water on Briar, and quite most of it on St Agnes, enough for all the people there. It's a wonderful, joyous thing to do, to find water for people who haven't had it before. Oh, the job satisfaction. You know, to walk around with a piece of stick, say what I say. On the Scillies, I drilled within 30, 40 feet of high tide and found fresh water. How did I do it? You see, well, it was by dowsing. And as to, if it had been salt water, I'd had to drill them another hole. Would you like to take that chance? Because I did. We've done, I don't know, certainly over 1,300 successful supplies. All done, no water, no pay. So we put our money where our mouth is in that sense. but also over the last several dry years, I don't think there's that number have come back to us who've run out of water. So what's to be said for it? I don't seek to convince anybody. I don't seek to prove anything. If people go away with something to think about, that's fine, but that's what we do.